Hey you folks, Quill18 here, and welcome to Let's Try an Early Press build of Railway Empire. Railway Empire is a railroad business management tycoon-y kind of game from Kalypso, and from the same development studio that brought us various iterations of things like Patrician and Grand Ages Medieval, for example. And I have to kind of feel like the people who made this game are kind of obsessed by the same kind of railroady kind of games as I clearly am, if you guys have ever watched my channel before. I'm really excited to be playing this over here. The game has a campaign mode over here with a variety of missions. It's got a some scenarios over here, and it's got a sandbox mode where you can, I think, play with like infinite money, and then the free mode over here, which is not infinite money, and actually does have goals for you to achieve if you want to target those, but it's a far more tunable experience in terms of your starting situation, where you start, your money, your competitors, the difficulty level, and so on and so forth. I feel like, should I just do like the first campaign mission, because it's sort of tutorial-y and it might show things off, or go into just a free mode? I kind of feel like just going into the free mode so that I don't sort of, I don't know, spoil some of the story kind of stuff. But there's a little nice animations to introduce things. There's story, there's background for the characters and the scenarios you're in. But I feel like the most appropriate thing to show off might just be the free mode over here. So the game does start in as early as the 1830s in the US. That sort of pioneering railroad spirit from east to west, basically, to combine the continent. There's like, it's crazy how much it spans, because you play in different eras, but there's a massive technology tree, actually, like 40 different trains. There's like 300 technologies or something like that. I'm going to start, where am I going to start? I'm going to start in the east, right over here, and I feel like we'll do the earliest start, 1830. Over here. That sounds like a good idea. With the Great Lakes in the north, the Atlantic to the east, and the Appalachian Mountains in the center, there's less arable land available in this area than others. Those areas that can be cultivated are therefore densely populated for the most part. By far the largest and most important city was New York City, which by 1830 was already the largest goods hub on the American East Coast. So you get to start, you pick your starting city over here. You will have to build your first station in the city that you pick. The game highlights 4 good cities to probably start from. We'll go ahead, I wonder if I should start somewhere else than Baltimore. Charlotte is recommended, Toledo is recommended, New York is recommended. You know what? Baltimore's going to be okay. Washington's right next door. It's going to be really easy to connect to, and maybe we can get our way up to New York and do some cool stuff there. I'm thinking I'm actually going to go and just disable the competitors of this so we can focus, because this is our first video that we're doing for this. We're going to focus entirely on the game mechanics, the track laying, that sort of thing, without having the pressure of having competitors get in our way. You can choose whether you want the rail network to be easy or realistic. And easy, trains can pass through each other, no delays, no traffic issues, no collisions, anything like that, so you don't need any signals or anything. We're going to go with realistic over here, which does offer signaling. It's not like super intense, complicated signaling, but you're still going to have to worry about it some. So yeah, I'll go ahead and just start with this, and it's probably going to be okay.
We shall conquer them all.
You do get to choose your character that you're going to be using, so a little bit of flavor text. It also determines who is not going to be your opponent, I suppose. So we can go with the general, who has a discount to track construction costs, which is very good. This is actually probably one of the most expensive things, as opposed to building stations.
Hey, it's not a good idea to keep me waiting.
There's the gangster here, who can, there's employees that you can hire in the game. The gangster lets you get more of them for cheaper.
Sometimes I think about giving everything up and dedicating my life to poetry.
The industrialist here gives us higher freight prices.
There's no way to halt the progress of technology.
Doc Murphy, the engineer, gives us 20% additional innovation points per month.
Niles?
The lady here gives us higher ticket prices for passengers, presumably.
I pity those poor unsuspecting souls. They won't even realize that we've ripped them off.
And the trickster gives us a discount on all locomotives and auctions.
Isn't my uniform
So I'm going to go ahead with the engineer, because come on, man. Doc Murphy, we can rename him over here if we want. Doc Quill, there we go. Name of our company, the Quill Express Co. There we go. That's the name of our company there. And then we can jump right into the game. Nice little painted scenery. The cutscenes, I think, are quite lovely as well. The little animations they throw in here.
Although you have no competitors in this scenario, you'll have to complete your list of tasks as well as possible for a good rating.
So, the game is based very much on completing tasks to finish the scenario. within a certain time span, because what they've done here is they've made it so that the era you play in is sort of like a finite experience, and then you start a game in another era, for example. So it's really focused on the vibe of each particular era over here. And as far as I can tell, these are, I guess, procedurally generated and randomly generated, so you get some nice variety in there, and it includes considerations for opponents, like there's a stock market manipulation you can do, so buying stock, buying out your opponents, that sort of thing. So here we're going to have some tasks over here so that we can improve our scenario score. The earliest tasks are simply connecting rural stations to our rail network, and achieving revenue from transporting mail, for example. And finally, by 1836, try to get an express connection between Baltimore and Buffalo. So let's see what we can do with that. There's these great little interactive, like, mini tutorials built in to let you know, like, your steps in order. Hey, maybe you should build a station here, and here's how you do it, which I think is great. We're going to trash that. So I do have to start in Baltimore, because I started that as my home city. After that, you get a fair amount of flexibility. So we're going to build over here. We've got a variety of little sort of just basic structures we can build here. There's also these city buildings, universities to give me more tech, attractions to bring in more passenger revenue, industries, and so on and so forth. We're going to go ahead and start with the station in Baltimore here. We've got 3 sizes. The sizes of the station give you different amounts of catchment area. This matters a lot for some of these little rural areas, because you can often get a couple of farms within them, which is nice. Now, in the cities, the larger ones also give you you get a lot more tracks. I think it's probably okay in Baltimore to go ahead and invest in the largest station. So by holding shift and scrolling here, I can rotate it. I'm going to do something kind of like this, because we're definitely going to be having to cross the river to the north. I'm going to pull back just a scooch, so we have a bit more room before the river to mess with our tracks a little bit. So we got our first station down. I'm going to put one in Washington. I think to save money, I'm going to start with a small train station. It's letting me know that I should build a second station over here. I'm going to start with a small one, and I'm going to rotate it something like this. I'll just start with one track. We can upgrade the station later on with ease, in which case it'll add more tracks sort of this way. So I think that placement's kind of okay. Let's go and build some rail over here, some track. And again, we can get a little animation to give us some tips about how to do that. Now, the track laying in this is, I think, really fantastic. So we're going to choose the starting node for it. We can draw it. It's pretty smart about trying to draw a relatively smart track. And if I click here, it doesn't actually build the track, not until I hit that buy button. I can actually be like, okay, well, I don't have enough money right now. I'm just going to right-click and close that for now. But if I click it again, it remembers what's there. So we can always hit the buy button over here or trash it. The other thing you can do is you can grab it and put in nodes and redraw your track this way. Maybe because you're trying to get a better incline, or you're trying to save some money by going around a mountain instead of building a tunnel. For now, I think I'm going to take the most direct route that it develops over here. It really tries hard to build bridges, tunnels, or just regrade the landscape here to avoid as many inclines as possible. So we're still going to get one here because I think Baltimore is relatively uphill from Washington. So we're going to get 4% incline, which isn't great for our really weak sauce trains that you have in 1830, but we'll have to make it work. So we're going to go ahead and pay and build that track. I mean, you can zoom in fairly far too. The cities will, they have little horse-drawn wagons going around. Look at that. People walking around. Just lovely, gorgeous stuff. So then we get some information about how to embiggen our cities. We'll look at that in just a moment. I'm going to get a train going on here. So this is where you create a new train. You can start by buying them a locomotive or setting up the rail line. You can do these through these buttons here, but they've got a little reminder to make sure that you know what you're doing. Let's go ahead and set up the rail line first. So what we're going to do for this is we're going to choose going from Washington to Baltimore, and then it'll automatically loop back and forth. Puts these little arrows just to show you like the ultimate path between the cities, the direct path. And then it highlights the actual track that will be used, including which platform this train would prefer to use as is. By default, it's got automatic loading. It'll just try to load the most valuable goods to transport between places. But you can say, hey, I only want this to be express, freight, or I want to manually set what to load at each location. We'll leave it on automatic over here. We'll say OK for that route. So that's Washington to Baltimore. And then we're going to add a locomotive. Now, since it's 1830, and since we haven't unlocked anything with our tech, we've only got a single locomotive option over here, the Grasshopper. It's got a maximum speed of 15 miles per hour, and the train performance here, which is really important for climbing hills, for example, is only 11%. It is not a great locomotive. Doesn't even look look like a locomotive, but that is the grasshopper for you. Still, we have not much choice, so we're going to go ahead and purchase this bad boy over here. So we've got that. Now, what you can do as well is you can add extra cars to your trains. So, for example, if we made this an express, which is going to carry passengers and mail, for example, we might want to put in on dining car for 20% more ticket revenue, mail car for more revenue for mail, the caboose to make our employees stronger, refrigeration car so that our food is better, and so on and so forth. And I think there's more things you can unlock here later on, although don't quote me on that. We'll look at technology in just a moment. Personnel. So you can actually put up to 4 different workers on a train. And there's a little star here for the conductor because there's actually a conductor waiting to be hired and available. So let's take a look. We've got Scarlett Phillip over here, who's disciplined. She would give us a 10% boost to... Oh, there it is. It's like, no, there's a tooltip. Right, tooltip on the icon. Smooth loading and therefore increases profit for transportation of mail by 10%. You know what? That's probably worth the recruitment cost. Let's go ahead and do that. So she's here giving us a boost to mail on the Washington-Baltimore route. And she's hired. We can always move her from train to train if we would like. We got a little bit more info here. Whenever a train reaches the city, freight, mail, and passengers will be unloaded. The rising numbers that you get a little pop-up resident transport revenue. The faster you transport express goods, the higher the revenue. So express goods, like these passengers and this mail that's being loaded onto this train right now, going faster would make us more money. You can see how valuable this carload is over here, and our current speed. We can center the view on the train, and we can even ride along the train, including blowing the whistle, which is great. I can move the camera around, and we can go and position ourselves in a couple of different directions. Look at all the people waiting to get on. I think that's lovely. It gives you something to do while you're waiting for things to happen. Let's take a look at the city over here, Baltimore. What's its deal? Well, Baltimore over here is currently a size 3 city. It has a certain population, which is currently going down because their good requirements are not being met. By the way, we're playing pretty slow right now, which is why I didn't want to put any opponents, because all the explaining is certainly going to slow down our pace. If we click here, we can actually see all the goods Baltimore has and wants. So, for example, it wants grain. It's got some grain right now, although that's going down. It also wants corn, but doesn't have any at all. It also doesn't have any beer, or sugar, or cloth, or fruit. These are all things it doesn't have right now, and because it's unsatisfied, it's not growing. If you satisfy a city, it will slowly grow and go up in size, which will generate more and more and more goods, as well as getting more slots for industry over here. I can actually add my own industry slots if I had more money. Like we could build a meat industry here in Baltimore if we wanted to. And that might actually not be a bad idea, but let's hold off on that at this time. In the campaigns, a lot of these are already built and things, and so you get a bit of a different flow. We know that it would be really great if we could get some grain and corn into Baltimore, so let's see where we might be able to get that from. Well, first of all, we got a little tip over here that, hey, maybe we should build a rural station over here. That sounds pretty smart. We can also go ahead and check the flow of goods over here, and that'll actually show us goods that are moving on their own. Already, this grain farm over here is via like wagon loads, which you can't see on the map as far as I know. There's grain moving to New York and Albany and Baltimore from here, but clearly that means there's a real demand there if they're moving on their own. So why don't we go ahead and build a train station to bring that in? If we take a look at the milk supply over here, Baltimore is also getting some of that. So if we bring it there, we know there's already demand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and build a new station. Now, these stations do have different catchment areas depending on their radius. Now, with the city, you really have to put the station inside the city proper. With the industries, you actually can't plop it right on the industry. You got to put it near the industry so the circle's there. If we build a large station here, we can actually reach both in one go, and it'll make our tracks a little simpler. I don't know if this is better or not than building 2 separate ones. It'll probably depend a lot on the location. But here, we're going to go ahead and build that there. That's going to be okay. And let's think. I'm going to go, because I know I'm going to want another station down here as well. So I'm going to leave the sort of bottom track over here to go to that bottom station. And I'm going to grab this second from the bottom. And the plan will be to connect it up to the Nolan breeding station. If we click that, we got a total incline of only 1%. It is going to cost us $160,000 to build this track, though. Let's go and get some financing assistance here and hope that we don't backfire ourselves. Here's our company view over here. We got a variety of different stats that we can look at. Our quarterly report, our competitors if we had any, and that would include the ability to purchase their stock and even buying out their company completely if we had enough money. We've also got a stock market. We can invest in certain materials like consumer goods if we wanted to, and we can take out a bond for a loan. I'm going to take out the lowest interest one. We have to pay it back relatively soon, but it's only got a 4% interest rate. So I'm going to go ahead and issue that one. That should be okay. So now if I go back to my track construction, I have enough money to buy it. So I will do that. And then I will go ahead and construct a new train. Your rail line will be to go from Nolan Breeding to Baltimore. And you have to use a grasshopper because it's our only option over there. Excellent. And we could swap the the conductor to this train, but this train's not going to be transporting mail, so it doesn't really help. These rural stations, you never deliver anything to them. You just pick stuff up. But you can see, we've actually started with milk, because that probably had a slightly higher demand, although it's not worth any money, which is a little bit odd. Do we actually have demand for milk? Or is it an intermediate step? They've got some, but not as much as we might want. We'll do it anyway. Satisfy it, again, to grow the city, and we should be able to make some more money down the road. Each town has industries where higher quality goods are manufactured. These goods may be in demand in other cities. And trains running between cities carry freight and express. Okay, so in the free... Oh, there we go! A weaving factory just opened up in Baltimore. That's just private ownership. Some, other character in, in the multiverse of this game opened a weaving factory. This is something that wants wool, although that icon, I believe that's cotton, and produces cloth. So one of many goods that gets sort of produced and transformed over time. It's also got a rating here, and you can buy it. If I click on here, I could try to purchase this industry. It wouldn't even be that expensive at $310,000, because I don't think it's really made any noticeable profit yet. So the question then becomes, hey, news articles over here. Dog travels entire USA. Indian resettlement bill passed. Negotiations with tribes begin. This is history in the appropriate amount of time for us. We've got an engineer. The other thing we've got is we've got research. We've got some stars here that indicate that we've got a couple of different tech options available to us. Every month, you earn innovation points. You can earn more innovation points by building things like universities. These store up, and then you can spend them to unlock technologies. Also, from time to time, there will be auctions that occur. And auctions will let you purchase a technology with money as opposed to innovation points. Now, innovation points can unlock things like new locomotives, like the John Bull over here, the 040. It's a more powerful locomotive, and it only takes 100 innovation, but we need 3 techs unlocked first before we can unlock it. Oh! Speaking of auctions, I'm going to go ahead and bid this. Because I'm playing alone, no one's going to bid against me, so I will get real railroad enthusiast and increase the number of passengers by 10%. So that's a nice little buff for free. So here we can increase the transport fee for freight by 10, or the transported mail by 10, and it keeps going down here for passengers. I'll go and get the freight and the mail. There we go. So we're going to have to wait until we get more innovation points, but we should be able to make a little bit more cash as is. Let's take a look at our total list of trains. You can see now we're actually, we are turning a profit on these, which is going to be all right. Actually, was that the profit on, like, the current load or the last load? Maybe that was it. Maybe that's why it started at 0. That might make the most amount of sense, actually. Anywho, the trains are moving. Now, they are using different platforms right now, so they will not interfere with each other. That will change later as we get more and more stuff going on. Got some more employees available. We could hire a second engineer here. This one does something different, right? This one reduces... I guess we could hire either one. Reduces maintenance requirement. This one increases maximum speed. You know what? I'm going to recruit them both. That's going to be fine. And what I'm going to do, the Washington-Baltimore, which is probably going to handle a lot of express, I'm going to go and give it the faster speed. Like that. Oh, and actually, I closed out of that too quick. We have a miserable relationship. These fellas over here, these two workers, do not get along. Let's hope to get the description of them again. This is, Jaden is timid. And Scarlet is disciplined, and they don't get along together. So he's causing unhappiness to her. So that's not great. So what we'll do is we'll swap to the other engineer over here. He's happy. If we click on him, we can get a preview, so it won't do anything. I guess we'll call that good enough. So at least they're working together and we're still getting some boosts. And then I'll go to the other train and assign our engineer who has no tasks over there. I do like that there's a little star there to let you know, hey, there's someone that could be applied here. The golden ones mean you can just swap. The ones with the star means there's literally someone just sitting around doing nothing. So Baltimore's still shrinking a lot because it's not getting all of its goods yet, but we're going to work our way up there. I am thinking what I'm going to do, since we don't have enough money for a giant station, I'm going to build a small station right over here by the cattle. And we may not have enough for all the track, but let's figure out what we need to get it going. So we're going to get this one, and we're going to get it to come down there. Again, so we got 0 inclination. We won't get any real competition at the entrances over here. Big bridge. Ooh, that's going to be really expensive. Can I save money by requiring less bridging? That's not bad, because I think by sharing this, A, it's short, and B, I think it uses some of the same infrastructure. What if we say, all right, maybe we can't afford another bridge entirely. What if we go and build from here and see if we can just connect over there? Now, we can do that. Later on, this might cause a little bit of an issue for us because we're not actually setting up for dual lanes. It's not actually saving us that much money, which is interesting. Tell you what, I'm just going to get you to stop on the side and just do that. You know what? Let's do this because that's not bad. Now, we need a fair bit more cash before I can buy the track. I could take out another loan. I think I'm just going to go and accelerate the speed for now. Our trains are turning a profit, so that's all right. In fact, I'm realizing for the sake of introducing this, I may have wanted to start with a little bit more money. But this will do. Here we go, another train coming in. They're both coming in at the same time, which is lovely. Now, one thing is we've gotten a couple of breakdowns already on our trains. Okay, we got one notice at some point. I don't know if you remember seeing it. We got a little exclamation mark and like a caution symbol. We had a train breakdown. We can help to prevent that if we build a maintenance factory over here in Baltimore. It does cost 80 grand, but they will receive service automatically, reducing the chance of, all kinds of problems. It seems like a worthwhile investment. Now, there is something else that we're going to have to do as well here, which is provide them with supply towers, if at all possible. Oh, we can close Baltimore info. Thank you very much. Aha! Oh, this one actually just suffered a breakdown, which is different from what I was going to say. But they almost certainly are starting to run low on supplies, and they'll need a supply tower soon. So the breakdown caused them to sit around for a little while. There it is. We could hire a conductor. Let's save a little bit of cash before we do that. So you're just delivering mail, which is good. Let's take a look at our task list, actually. Oh yeah, there's this tips page as well, with a bunch of different topics that you can check out. 3 rural stations. We have another couple of years before we need to reach that, so I think we're doing okay. We are planning on hooking up the cattle real soon. Oh, what do you want? You can hire employees. Yes, I'm aware. Thank you very much. Oh, I think a new business opened up. A meat industry opened up in Baltimore. It wants cattle, and it'll produce meat and leather goods, which is excellent. Now, we are working on getting our cattle over there. The larger the station, the shorter the loading and unloading time will be, and more rail tracks will be available. For the sake of this, interest due for bond. I'm wondering about taking out a big old loan. Another breakdown over here. Oh, we got some more research, though. We can get leaf spring suspension, increase the number of passengers in every city. That's not bad. The bell over here increases train performance by 10% because bells are awesome. We can also unlock the John Hancock over here. Greater performance and provisional cab. That can lead us to a few different things, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to unlock the bell, because performance is good, and then next time we get 100 points, we'll unlock the John Bull, as opposed to the John Hancock. And we'll keep going down this kind of list over here. More breakdowns. I guess they might be built-in supply towers at the stations, and that might be why it's not bringing that up. We'll see. I like how there's a utilization number for these various tracks as well, so you can find out how busy they are. Really handy, and if you click, you'll get the list of all the trains using this particular track, so then you can go and click on it and get some information. Love the feedback. I've said it before, strategy games are all about getting information out there. I suppose I could just run the track into the back of Nolan Breeding, but then we'd have to worry about setting up sidings already. Alright, let's go and take out a bond. Boom. Let's take out the biggest one. A lot of interest. But, bankruptcy is fun, right? Okay, so I'm going to buy this track, which we'd already planned out, which is nice. It's only got the 1% incline, which is lovely. We're going to set up a new train, which is going to go from Thomas Breeding to Baltimore, bringing meat in there, which is going to be excellent, and we'll add in our grasshopper locomotive. We've got an engineer kicking around and available. You have maximum speed. It's a long route. Let's go ahead and hire you. That's going to be okay. All right, and you are carrying a whole bunch of cattle with you, which again will dump into Baltimore, which has extra demand for it because of the business, and will then produce meat and leather goods. And it wouldn't surprise me if Washington... Oh, actually, Washington has its own meat industry as well. But maybe we could bring this stuff to something like New York City. That sounds pretty tempting. There we go. Locomotive slow due to missing equipment. So this notice here is letting us know we need to build a supply tower here. So that I'll build it sort of halfway through the route there and over here as well. It's a long route. The supply tower will let you refill with water, sand, and lubricant that are required to make the trains go. We'll get our supply route over here because this one is still missing that. I guess they start with a fairly big load of it, and it's not a problem at first, but that's definitely the case. So this train should make a little pit stop over here, restock its supplies, and go. The supply tower also counts as a signal, and we'll be looking at the signal stuff relatively soon. We just need more money for more trains here. Vegetables. Do we need vegetables in Baltimore? The Baltimoreans? That's probably not what they're called. Do they eat vegetables? They do actually have a demand for vegetables. Some things are grayed out. These will tend to open up, I think, as the city gets bigger. They do produce the leather as well. We'll have to figure out somewhere to go with it. And they get some vegetables in, but clearly we can go and make a little vegetable farm over here. So I'm going to build a small station here. I'm going to build you, just off this way. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect you to the back of Thomas Breeding, because it's going to be very cheap. And so my goal here is going to build a train that goes from Lopez Farm over to Baltimore. Oh, let me unlock this train first. Bam, this new car rather, so that we can add this new locomotive. So this new locomotive has like double the performance, quite higher speed, fair bit more expensive. What's the maintenance and reliability? 104. Oh, it's actually not as reliable. You know what? We'll just build another grasshopper for this. Save a little bit of cash. Now, we will run into a problem here, because this train, you see it's waiting for another train, because this track is not clear. In fact, it'll never be clear. This train, if we'll keep taking advantage of the fact that we can get, like, uncontested auctions in this solo mode here, this train will always be in the way of the other one. In fact, I believe this one here might also... Oh, this one can move happily, because he can move all the way here. So what do we need to do? Well, we need to set up some sidings and signals. So if we go into our building construction, we've got signals over here. We can put signals on the track. And what they will do is they let you sort of subdivide your track into steps so that your trains can move up to the signal and then wait there. They have a direction, like you put them on one side of the track or the other. So if I go ahead and put it here, what's going to happen is this train will then move up to here and then be stopped. Because there's still someone in his way, but he can at least move up to here so far. So that's an improvement. By default, a regular signal doesn't limit a train to one direction. In fact, it'd probably be quite common for us to, put a pair of signals back to back like this. You can force a signal to be one directional by shift clicking on the post. Now, this is a one directional route. You get a no entry from the other side. That's not what we're looking for here, though. I just want this guy to stop if there's someone in the station. And then over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a little siding setup. So we're going to go to track construction. I'm going to click right over here, and I'm going to pull it out to there, and it actually snaps very nicely. You can actually see the icon change to that twin track. So then it snaps to the track very nicely. We'll stretch it out a certain amount, and then I'll rejoin to another switch over here. We're going to lock this in, and what we're going to do is we are going to build signals over here, which will allow us to say something like, well, two things. One, we're going to wait here to make sure that we don't have two trains on this bit of the track. And same thing, we can put another little wait signal over here. Hang on, I just got to find a place far enough away from the switch. There we go. Now, this again does not enforce one-way routes. But if I shift-click it, now these signals will only let trains go in one direction. I'll put another signal on the entrance to this siding, here and here. And now, see that? The trains can pass each other. I'll go ahead. I don't need, I think, to make this a one-way because it's already one-way there, and obviously the trains can't use it anyway, but we may as well do the whole setup. So now those two trains can pass each other. I mean, that's not going to be quite as a free flow as if we had dual track the whole way, but it's certainly enables a lot more stuff to go on. We have some more technology going around over here. Again, a detonator, which gives us more reliability on trains. They don't break down as much. That sounds pretty good. And more reliability over here. Well, let's unlock this one. It's apparently cheap at the 100. The cowcatcher gives us more performance. Let's do the spark arrestor. I think that's going to be okay. And then we've actually unlocked enough technology. We could unlock the Dunham train afterwards, which is awfully nice. We got an accountant available, I believe. That is an office personnel, so someone we can hire for our office, which detects inconsistencies in bids for new locomotives and therefore reduces purchase prices by 10%. Hey, we can get cheaper trains. Sounds like a good investment for our office over here. We can hire a security guard over here, prevent bandit attacks on trains, and cause a 5% increase in freight prices. That sounds pretty good. Let's go ahead and hire this guy. And let's pick a train that's going to carry freight like this one over here. And I'll give him a security guard. There you go. No conflicts over here. So we'll get that started. Sounds lovely. Yes, we can hire office personnel. I know. Thank you very much. Okay, we've got some money. Let's see if we can make our way to New York City. So these guys will still have to slow down from time to time. Oh, I think a professor will give us extra research. Yes? No? Oh, this is a one-shot employee. Gives research tax to your companies. You receive $160,000 and a one-off innovation point reduction of 11. So if we hire this guy, we lose some innovation points, but we get a whole bunch of money. That sounds good to me right now, actually. That is really handy. Let's see if we can make our way to New York. I'm going to start with the small station, but we're definitely going to plan on the fact that expansions will almost certainly happen. I think I'm going to build my station this way and down there, so we can expand sort of northwards from this point of view. I mean, that's not north, I think that's west, but still, you know what I mean. To the top of the screen. We're going to plop this guy down over here, and we are going to start... Well, we're going to need at least 2 lines, if not 3. Because I think I want a dedicated line from Thomas Breeding and Lopez Farm to come this way as well. Clearly we'll need another siding. I'll want a dedicated line, I think, from Nolan Breeding into here, and then a dedicated line for the New York to Baltimore run. Although, we could have the New York to Baltimore run share the same line as Nolan Breeding and use some sort of siding here for a little bit of extra space. In any case, I think it's probably a good idea to go and invest to expand this station. We'll also want to maintenance a station, but I'm going to wait a little bit longer so that we've got the cash. So, we're going to get you to come over here. Let me actually start here. I'm just trying to find a good way across this river that we can then branch and share. I'm thinking actually there is no good way. It's fairly expensive, but I think is all right. Now, I could use one train with 2 stops to service both of these, but I don't think that's going to be good. It's possible, though. But no, we'll just have one from Nolan Breeding to here. Add a locomotive. We'll keep using the small ones for this, but then we'll make sure that our route from Baltimore to New York really sees a lot of action. I'm going to hold off on Lopez Farm for a second until we can get all the sidings and things worked out here. Ooh, I actually started from the wrong connection here. Let me go. I'm just going to plop a supply tower down there, because it'll be nice, because it'll actually subdivide the route for me. I'm going to delete that bit and reconnect you that way. Okay, a little bit of wasted money, but that's okay. Letting us know that train was waiting for activation because it couldn't get where we wanted. We'll go ahead and bid for the train whistle. Okay, our train should be okay now. Yes, no? Thomas Breeding to New York. I think you will, in fact, be okay in a moment. Let me go and redo your track. I think he might have gotten confused. So we're going to trash and say that your route is going to be Thomas Breeding to New York. Let's try this again and go. Oh, alright, but there's trains in the way. We've got to work on our siding. Okay, let's do that right away. That's what's going on. They're getting each other stuck here. So we'll run it to there. And a siding to there. Ooh, I actually have to purchase all that. Excellent. And we'll put in the signaling to force the directions. So you're going to go there. You're going to go there, be one-sided, and be one-sided. There we go, and they're okay. And yeah, I'll put in the entranceway as well, too. I don't know if this is actually a good idea or not. I'm thinking it might not be. There you go. Get rid of that. Okay, so you're just waiting for this train to get off to the siding, which is fine. I think we've eliminated all those problems now. Good. We'll have to do another one over here, probably. No suitable freight. You'll get it. I think it's because he just did a full round trip with nothing in him. But now he should be picking up the cattle. Oh, it's possible New York doesn't want cattle. New York doesn't want cattle, but I bet you they want vegetables. Hang on a second. You are going to not go to Thomas Breeding. Instead, you're going to go to Lopez Farm. Then I bet you'll be okay. Because I bet you New York wants vegetables. They just didn't want meat. Or, sorry, they didn't want cattle. Yeah, they don't want cattle. But they do want veggies. Okay. Alright. I got some money. Maybe not enough to complete the Baltimore route. We'll see. Ooh, we can unlock the Dunham. Let's do it. Boom. 300 innovation points. Get ourselves a new train. Old Ironside success. Baldwin tests locomotive. We can also check the shed over here so that we can see all the trains that are available in the game. And that includes doing something like, with the Dunham here, I could replace all my locomotives with my new train if I want, which I like as a handy little time saver. So, what we're going to be doing here from New York is, I bet you to save money, we'll pair the same bridge over here. But then we're looking to curl out of here and actually go in and hit Nolan's Breeding. I'm going to use a different track over here, though. Like that. There we go. So this is going to have more curves and maybe a slightly worse incline overall. But you can't build it if it's going through something. So we're going to go ahead and pay a bill. I like how easy it is to do that, though. Really, really, really easy. Just so that we still have a little bit more income coming in, I will set up a new rail line from Nolan Breeding down to New York. And I guess we'll use a grasshopper for this. You could have a stoker, actually, for more speed. What I'm going to do is, while you're around, I will purchase you. Also, there's another professor here for some early money. Money, money, money. Money, money, money. Yeah, sacrifice some innovation points just to get things going early on. You are complaining about a breakdown. Fair enough. So we have a train going through Nolan Breeding to New York. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect on the other side as well. From here, you are going to go all the way here. And I realize we're not building much in the way of directional tracks, but I think that's okay. Although, these here could actually be directional. Let's do something like this. Do some more work, but that's okay. And then what we're going to do is we're actually going to have a two-directional track between Baltimore and New York. To here, and then merge in like that. And then what I want is some signals to say that goes that way, shift-click. And you are going this way, shift-click one way. So that'll enforce a one-way direction on everything over here. You do get a sub-brake at the supply stations, which is nice. And then over here, we're going to put a signal that way. And then I'll put another one over here on the way in, like that. And what we need to make sure is that trains don't enter this place if there's going to be a blockade. So we need... Ooh, I don't have enough... I didn't leave myself enough room. I think that's going to be okay. The trains are relatively smart. I think we'll be fine. So now, I've got enough money. I want to build my final sort of big thing from Baltimore to New York. I might make two, actually. So I want a fast train over here. And I'm going to give him the Speedy Stoker. That's going to be all right. I'm tempted to make one an express and one something else. Tell you what, let's go ahead and manage the train. We're going to put a dining car and a mail car on here. Oh, we haven't researched them. Haha, never mind. I was going to do that and then also make an express train. But yeah, we've got to unlock some more tech here. We got the train whistle because we spent money for it. Yeah, it's got to start because there's some techs I can afford, but I can't actually reach it yet. So we're going to come back when we've got a few more options. And hopefully no one is ever sitting around stuck. We can keep a look at all our list of trains. What's your deal? Oh, I think that was just a breakdown, so you're going to be fine. And yeah, we can keep an eye on some of these things to make sure they're flowing correctly. So this is not one-way traffic. These are two-way traffics that are going to a specific junction over here. Or platform, I should say. So we're good there. You're returning, I think, to the farm empty-handed, which is okay. I think we'll want a siding here, or we're going to want another two-way track, which I think is probably what we should do. We've got the money for it. Yeah, let's go ahead and invest. We'll give it a fair amount of space over here. Bring it in this way, and we're going to go all the way down to... all the way down to somewhere here. Tell you what, stay locked. Thank you. Same thing over here. Oh, can I not snap it here? Not making the corner? You know what? It's fine. We can, we'll build a second bridge. Oh yeah, it's not making the corner. That's okay. There you go. And I want you to merge up over there. That's going to be fine. Oh, let's move you out a little scooch. There we are. All right. A little bit sloppy, but, you know, that's pretty typical for me. Let's go and build some signals here and make this, yeah, make this a one-way. Because that's already a signal, let's actually put this right over here. I like that. And then from here, like that. Excellent. We are going to want a couple of supply towers along the way. And again, because they act as signals, they can sub-break up these blocks to make sure that trains can keep moving fairly efficiently. And you're going to be a one-way that way as one last stop before you go out. And you're going to come over here. Now, we did just get a pop-up, hopefully. Oh, that's just a breakdown. As far as I know, we still got everything going okay. Let's go and unlock the John Hancock for no money. Everything's easier without opponents! The opponents are pretty colorful, and they certainly make the game a lot difficult because you can't actually have opponents move into the same city as you and compete over the same goods. They have to build their own station, but it's entirely possible for, say, two people to be in New York, which can be pretty hairy. What is this? Seat upholstery. Increase the number of passengers in every city where your company has a station by 15%. That's kind of nice. Although, I think we're going to go for some performance boosters over here. I think that's quite swell. Quill Express is the fastest train. We hit 32 miles an hour. Now, one of the cool things I like is you can actually... Let's find that Baltimore to New York train over here. You can actually get all kinds of stats about how fast they travel in different situations here, which I think is very nifty. So you got uphills and downhills. That's kind of what's being represented over here. So we can hit our top speed sort of going downhill. Oh, we got an engineer available over here for this route. Carefree, more speed, and oh, they actually get along. So these two, this guy is making this guy happy. So we're actually getting a boost. Instead of a 5%, he's doing a 7%. So between these two, they're both boosting the speed, acceleration, and performance a lot. Really nice. Security guard is available. New applicant over here. Neither one's making them particularly happy, but that's okay. We'll do that. How about this conductor? Yeah, that wouldn't work out. We'll have to see if we can get some new conductors later on. Got another stoker available here. We could pre-buy more of them, but that's going to be all right. Oh, do we have a real problem? No, I think that was just probably another breakdown. There are some trains maybe waiting over here from time to time. A couple more breakdowns. Oh! I need to get a a maintenance building in New York to prevent them from having any more problems. How are taxes coming along? All right, well, we completed the rural stations in time. We need revenue from transporting mail to go up and up and up. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to explicitly build a new train, which is New York to Baltimore. That's just going to be for rail to make sure, or, mail. Just to make sure that we are trying to do that as aggressively as possible. That is express stuff, so we'll use the Dunham. We'll go ahead and use the Stoker here for a little bit of a speed boost. That's going to be okay. Now, instead of being automatic, I'm going to set it to be manual. Now, one of the things you can do, and you can do this without setting it to manual, even on automatic, I can go in New York and tell it a few things. For example, I can tell it to prefer one platform over another, or not prefer anything. I can just give it a priority. For example, even if I don't set it to manual, I can say, listen, prioritize mail whenever possible. I can also say, don't leave unless you've got at least a couple of carloads worth of stuff. And the other station, which I guess actually I could have just cycled this way, same thing. Prioritize the mail and don't leave until you've got at least a couple. So we got a nice little symbol there. And say okay. Quill Express train. Oh, we've hit 38 miles an hour. You are waiting on a train. Right over here, which is was using one of our sidings. So we're actually getting a bit of a backlog of trains waiting to come into platform number 2 now. We might want to do something about that. And we totally can. So let's say we just do a little something like that. Okay? Boom. And oh, I may have not done it far enough. Hold on. Let me bulldoze here. There you go. Give us as much. There, go parallel. And then join in over here. Because I want to tell these trains, hey, don't enter that block to the right over here unless it's clear. So they can wait here. I don't think we actually need that because they will use the platforms relatively smartly. Again, those are not one-way signals, so it's going to be all right. Now, my mail train over here. Well, actually, I think it'll use the other platform. Like, I think they're both available now. Let's see, in Baltimore. I'm going to encourage you to use the third platform, so there's less competition. There we go. We got some more tech coming online. So, by the way, there's the next era over here. Can we get... There's a caboose. What do I want? I want the mail car, dining car. So, unlocking the Jervis might be the best way to get there. So, let's unlock the Jervis. Always has sufficient steam, even on steep inclines. Good climber. See, you get different trains for different purposes. Ticket price for passengers is good. Oh, we got a bonus if we go to Wilmington. Oh my god, it's 1,000,000 miles away! Oh, bonus for new industry. We'll see. Baltimore, are you growing? No, you're not really growing right now. You want some beer? Hey, you and me both, buddy. We got corn. We've got... Oh, the cloth still. Where can we get some cloth from? I think is an excellent question. Well, there's nothing auto-flowing here. Is anything producing cloth? Because, right, it's cotton. We got cotton over here, or wool. Yeah, it's pretty far away. We sort of want to make our way up past Albany, then, and get the cotton hooked up. But Baltimore doesn't want... Right, it needs cotton so it can make cloth. That would be an expensive run up here. Is it worth a super long distance route? There's this one here too. Pittsburgh. I think it's probably worth working our way up to Pittsburgh, actually. Let's say, and I do have to end this video shortly. Let's say, build a station in Pittsburgh. Let's go with at least a tier 2 station here. Something like that. And then for a rail, we're gonna pick, I'm gonna pick this third one over here. Just semi-arbitrarily. And the idea will be to go to Pittsburgh. Let me go and plop you down, but these hills. So we need to put a little marker because there's a little passageway right over here. We could build that for 1.5 million and a lot of tunnels. Or we can come along this way. I mean, it's still going kind of nuts with the bridging. That is going to be one brutal incline. And it's very expensive. I mean, it's a lot of track, And there's still a lot of bridging, which we sort of kind of... Do we have to put up with that? I guess I can do this and build a tunnel instead, which might be better for the incline. And we're saving a little bit of money. We got another tunnel 3. Oh, hold on. We can probably dodge that. And that. There we go. We're down to 427,000. Do we have a pass over here? We could go closer to the river, actually. Whoops. Hang on. I'll distangle this stuff in a second. %, 0%. Okay, this is looking a little stronger. It's a bit serpentine, but I think it might be our best bet. And it's only costing us 200 grand from avoiding bridges and whatnot. So it's a fairly long route, but not a bad one. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to... Oh, no stopping. Over 967 miles of track. We'll set up the rail line, which is going to be Baltimore to Pittsburgh to start off with. This will clearly have to have double tracks and signals and all kinds of things. But we'll set things up first. We're going to use our fastest train. Fastest and fanciest. Looks like this is Jervis over here. It's quite pricey, but very good. Alright, so at least you'll do that. We'll need some supply stations and things. We got, oh, a quarry over here. Nice. Oh, you can buy all these businesses, by the way. So I could buy this this wood business over here, this logging business. Only 67,000. If I get rail service to it, it's going to be much, much better. The cattle here, too. Much more expensive because it's actually reaching Pittsburgh. Maybe we can look into some of this stuff. So, let's finish this up by getting a small station set up right by the cotton. And we're going to hook it up with rail to go right through Pittsburgh. I could also have it just bypass Pittsburgh, but this is going to be okay. And we'll be setting up a train. And these won't really work right now, but it's going to be okay. Over to Baltimore. And say okay. Extending 8 stations. Excellent. I love the newspaper. We want the most performant train, which looks like either the Jervis or the Num Num is going to be fine. What's... Here, we'll unlock that. What's the reliability? They're about the same, so we may as well go for the Jervis over here. Same reliability, a little faster. Scooch more expensive, but barely worth mentioning. Oh, you can access a Stoker as well. May as well get you for some more speed. Not that this is an express route, but it's a long route. So now, we definitely have to set up some double tracking over here, because it's a long, long, long route, and multiple trains are, in fact, using it. So, we need to get you set up here. You can actually go all the way to the end. It'll be pretty smart, but just a little easier for me to go in little bits and pieces over here. So double tracked the entire way to here, and then we'll get you to merge up, and you can both use that platform, and I think that's going to be okay. And we can always split this up later on, and that's going to be fine. We're going to set up some signals over here to say you have to wait that way, and you're a one-way, and you're a one-way that way, and I just have to do the other side. And again, for here, you are going to wait here before going into the merge. And this one's not strictly necessary, but I'm going to go ahead and do that. Make sure a train can get out of the way of this crossing and park itself there. And we'll build some supply towers along the way. This is going to be a very expensive route. Yep, letting us know, hey, you may want to remember to build some supply towers. I got you, bud. Oh, and we're out of money. But there we go. We're actually making a fair amount of money right now, despite the fact our loan. Oh, not enough equipment, but it's okay. It's restocking over there. I think I might build one in between here as well. Okay, so now we should be getting cotton/wool deliveries. Oh, it was this train over here. But it presumably has dropped it off. So if we look here, yeah, we've got wool, and it's going to start to be converted over into cloth. Now, who wants cloth? Does New York... Do we have a fashion industry in New York? It's actually got its own weaving factory. What about in Washington? No, it doesn't. If we can grow Washington, I could build another business here. I have to get some goods into it. Do you need wood? Because you've got some, but we could probably ferry it in here and get you to grow a little bit faster. Oh yeah, we can set up warehouses too. That's one of the things you can do if you scroll down. A warehouse is just a giant sort of station that stores goods. And you can have it as a centralized thing, which then gets distributed a little bit further through everything. We should probably go and invest in a maintenance building over here in Pittsburgh. Still, our tracks are going okay. It could be that we've built up more than we need. It could be that we could have better flow than this, but our business is going. Now, if we had actual AI competitors, they'd probably be kicking my butt. I bet you need wood. If we go and just do this, New York's already hitting size 4, which is awesome. I'm going to get you here. And I'll get you to come in on the... no, not on the inner, because there's... Oh, there's not more stuff down there. Never mind. That is going to be okay. So we're going to purchase that. Get a locomotive. You're going to go logging to New York. And we will add probably just the cheap old John Hancock over here. Good reliability. Decent passenger rating, too. Not that it matters. Good acceleration. I think you're going to go swell for running the logs into New York. There you go. You got plenty of it. You should make some money. Lovely. So that's going to be the end of our first look at this game. We are going to be making some more videos of this in the future, but right now, the permissions, because it's still pre-release, we're just doing this one solo video, although I did do it extra long for y'all. We are going to be doing some more in the weeks and months leading up to the actual release of the game, so don't worry, there's going to be plenty more Railway Empire coming up. I know I'm going to be playing it a lot. And almost certainly there's going to be a lot of it on the UbTubs at some point in the future. Thanks for watching, folks. I will see you guys next time.